Born to the name Tsushima Shuji, Dazai Osamu was a classical Japanese author born in 1909 and dying in 1948. During the time that he was alive, Dazai wrote multiple famous works, including No Longer Human and The Setting Sun. Throughout both these pieces, he used his emotional writing to turn around and transform individual opinions, as well as informing people today about Japanese citizens' worldviews and emotional state post-World War II. As a result of readers understanding the past, Osamu Dazai has used his writing to educate people about the way we should think about our present.
Dazai was born into a wealthy family on June 19, 1909, in an area of northern Japan called the Aomori Prefecture. His mother, Tsushima Tane, had 11 children and became quite ill after she had her 11th. Because she was so unwell during his childhood, Dazai was rarely taken care of by his mother. His father, Tsushima Genomon, had married into the family, and due to his wealth and his drawing towards politics, was elected to the House of Peers. This job, consisting of checking the benefits and drawbacks of laws created by lower branches of the government, kept Dazai's father away from him throughout his early life. Due to his parents' absence, Dazai grew up as a lonely kid. Though he had friends at school, his works tended to imply that he did not keep them long, and when he did, their relationships were often unhealthy. Life had not given Dazai the best start, and in search for a true friend or someone to relate to during his isolation, he began to obsess over the author Ryunosuke Akutagawa.
Akutagawa quickly became a very crucial part of Dazai's life. Dazai looked up to him in the highest respect, and it is apparent that this continued throughout his adulthood, as Dazai's later works showed that he took a lot of inspiration from Akutagawa's macabre and intense style. Dazai wrote stories about human suffering and feeling alienated from society, both themes very much present in the works of Akutagawa. In 1927, Ryunosuke Akutagawa committed suicide at the age of 35. This event devastated Dazai and led to a spiral in the way he kept up with himself and his health. Dazai quickly became uninterested in his studies and began to have run-ins with alcohol and prostitutes to search for a feeling of a friend that he once found in Akutagawa.
On December 10, 1929, just 2 years after the death of Akutagawa, Dazai attempted to commit suicide for the first time out of many. This attempt was a failure, and Dazai continued to go to school before graduation the next year. He then applied to college in the pursuit of French literature. Shortly after his initial graduation, however, Dazai ran off with a geisha and was officially disowned by his family. This event cut off Dazai's allowance, which he had been using for the purchase of his addictions. Again, the world had struck Dazai with an event that crumbled his will to live, and he was yet again lost for a friend or someone who could support him. Because he was alienating himself from society and did not believe that he belonged, he attempted suicide again 2 days after being expelled from his university. This particular suicide was attempted with another woman by the name of Shimeko Tanabe, and while Dazai survived yet again, Tanabe did not. Dazai was accused of criminal charges, and to intervene with Dazai's inevitable decline, his family helped investigate the situation and reinstated Dazai's allowance. Dazai's disagreements with his family lasted for years, and so did his downward spiral. Dazai got involved in the Japanese communist movement, and his allowance was dropped yet again. To finally earn back his family's allowance, Dazai promised to finally settle down. At this point, Dazai began to write works depicting the feelings and emotions of Japanese people post-World War II, as well as his own feelings as he struggled to feel isolated in his daily life. These works were especially important because they highlighted a feeling of defeat, confusion, and disarray within the country and within his own thoughts.
Dazai's work, The Setting Sun, is particularly impactful in the post-war category because of the way it displays the utter depression and decline of the main character, Kazuko, after the battles in Japan took place. Throughout the book, Dazai shows the readers a scene of collapse as a previously high-influence family falls into a life of struggle, much like his own family. Kazuko must deal with the death of her mother, her drug-addicted brother, and have the realization that her life will never be the same. All the while, Kazuko is meeting secretly with an older author whom she struggles to find true love in, despite her addiction to the man. Writing this personally influenced work established Dazai as a truly revolutionary author of the time. His word choice and storytelling ability infatuated audiences and brought worldwide attention to specific feelings that could have never been experienced by any group other than his own. Despite the uniqueness of these major incidents and the drought of a delightful feeling within Kazuko, readers were able to connect to Dazai's writing and learn about a period of disarray within Japan. Because Dazai wrote about such a momentous time in history, people now have access to a particularly important primary source. Though they exist, books depicting the losing side of a war tend to be biased, or more focused on the informative and explanatory aspects of the defeated. Dazai, however, helped to bring about a new world of opinions and views as he shows a narrative perspective of defeat. Much like Akutagawa, his dull and bleak writing style was unique for the time, and so his writing especially shone through and highlighted the dark environment, something that the cheer of other authors of the time often failed to cover. After this book's release, readers were and continue to be able to view conflict with a different lens. Even though the situation of a major war may not be applicable to all people's lives today, the way that Dazai managed to write feelings of utter depression and loss allows people to see the horrible effects that they can have on others during a period of strife. This further shows readers firsthand how even small arguments can affect someone, and how a whole lot of small things can come together to form one big thing. These realizations put readers in a situation where they begin to realize the effects of their actions and take steps back to better themselves as a person.
No Longer Human was written in the form of 3 separate notebooks about a man named Yozo Aoba, a truly depressed man stuck in a life which he believed to have no purpose. Due to his constant self-deprecating thoughts, Yozo turns to buffoonery, a word coming from his later book title, The Flowers of Buffoonery, to use fake laughter and false feelings to cover up his detrimentally destructive lifestyle. When his plan fails, and his classmate Takaichi sees his true emotions, Aoba befriends him to hide his secret. Throughout the novel, readers see through Yozo's eyes, the perspective of a man falling deep into drug, prostitution, and alcohol addictions, and then further crippling as a person when he turns to suicide after suicide, his feelings for humanity decreasing quickly before his eventual success at the end of the book. Though Dazai wrote no modern-day blurb about his connection to his character, it is clear for readers to see that Yozo Aoba is an almost perfect reflection of Dazai himself. This connection allows people to see things that Dazai may have been feeling throughout his life. And this very same realization will allow people to view the people around them with a different point of view. Often people will view their peers with the light of prejudice, and seeing them the way Yozo's life played out in this novel, it can be inferred that readers would see an opening to befriend somebody around them, or perhaps see an already existing friend for their deeper feelings, viewing them as more than rumors that loom over the top of everybody's heads.
Dazai Osamu, despite his life of alienation and addiction, left behind an astonishing legacy that shines through in the uniquely dull way he wrote. People now can see his impact as they read his novels such as The Setting Sun and No Longer Human, and discover the truth behind conflict and emotions of pure depression, as well as receiving new, primary perspectives into the feelings and outcomes of war. Throughout his life, Dazai established himself as a revolutionary author capable of moving and inspiring people even to this day in a way that other authors of his time often struggled to accomplish.